Society of Crime.
Hello, everybody. What's up? I'm Jay with Guilty of Crime, and we're back. Come on in, guys. I see y'all. I see your comments. It's cold. I'm cold in California. Y'all are going to say, Jay, you're crazy. California is what, like 50 degrees, 60 degrees, and I'm freezing. Anyhow, guys, come on in. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Get a membership if you can. This is the month you're definitely going to want to have a membership to the channel. Dahlia, thank you so much, my girl, for the $2.49 super sticker pound. I love that it says super sticker. It's like, bam, I'm a super sticker. I don't know what happened to my background, but the media assets are coming up really big. So we're going to do that for today. If y'all do a super chat, super sticker, all that, you're going to be bam, right on your TV, all nice and big right there. So come on in, guys. What's up? Good to see you. Emily would die in New York right now. I'm a California girl. I'm born and raised in California. I could not live anywhere else. Just saying. What's up, VZ? You made it. Kiki, sounds weird, no? Sadie's mama, hugs. What's the clicking? What do you mean? The click, click, clicking? That's probably my mouse. What's up, everybody? Come on in. We're cold in Northern Cali, too. It's nice. Summers are too hot. I agree, Trishy. Bell, how you doing? All right, switch the input mic. That could be the problem. Thank you. Thank you, my super mod. Let's do that. You're absolutely right. All right. Here we go. Yeah, we got it now. All right, everybody, what's up? I'm Jay with Guilty of Crime, and we're back. Come on in. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. Get a membership if you can. I'm all good now. I switched the input. We're good to go, baby. What is this? StreamYard does that to me time to time. So thank you so much, Foxy, for letting me know right out of the gate. I appreciate you. And Leanne, my girl, thank you so much for the 99-cent super sticker pound. Y'all are on point today. No, you did not hit that vape too hard. Although yesterday it was pretty cool. I got a message from one of our crime crew folks that said, Jay, I noticed that you vape on camera. What is that you're vaping? I got this awesome, THC CBD store. And although I know it sounds fun if I say I'm vaping THC, I don't vape THC, and I don't do it when I'm on here. But it's all fair game when it's time to go to bed, right? So what's up, Teresa? Tears in Heaven. Good to see you, my friend. It's been a while. Wesley, prayers as always to you. All right, listen, guys. Listen, I've been waiting for Deception Detective to come out with these videos on Summer Wells, and as I was looking up everything, going back, way back, I found some really like eye-opening videos of inside of the house, inside of a shed, lots of different new theories now that this Ben Hill Road and the search has come out. So I got to tell you, Michael Monkey Vaughn was 4.5 years later, and he's they're working on that right now to solve the
According to
case.
a domestic report from
Hold
the
on.
Hawkins County
I
Sheriff's
don't mean to
Office.
press that. But listen, what's to say that we can't solve the Summer Wells case? All right, I'm gonna leave that up here for a second. I'm missing somebody's birthday. Happy birthday. Is that Darlene's birthday today? Big shout out to you, Darlene. If that's your birthday, it's not you. Wait, it's whose birthday is it? Happy birthday, Mo. Do we have several birthdays going on? What's up? Anyway, happy birthday. If your birthday was yesterday, your birthday's today. If it's tomorrow, next week, happy birthday, Monique. I see you guys are so awesome. The crime crew is the best. Y'all are the best. No joke. All right, we're about to hit 30,000 subscribers. We're a little about 120 maybe subscribers away from 30K, and we haven't even been here for 2 years yet. So y'all, it's all you. You guys do it. Thank you. We're working on Christmas. What's up, ATS? We're working on Christmas to help an autistic child get his Christmas. And also we've got mommy twins that's always in the house, Melissa. I'm gonna give her something to shop for either her dinner or her boys. So we're trying to help people here. We don't come here just to hear ourselves talk, and we have a mission, and we have a lot that we stand for. So be proud of yourselves for being here as well, and giving the support and just coming day in day out and doing your thing. You guys are awesome. Best crime crew. Happy birthday, Monique. Good to see you, Darlene. Krista, come on in, guys. I have a feeling you're gonna hit that like button because you like what we do here. Supports with Steffa. Good to see you. Good to see you. I love what all y'all are out there doing. I see you guys on the streets of YouTube many times. What's up, Julie Bug? How you doing, girl? Good to see you. Marlena says guilty of crime. If you're not familiar with the channel, Crimin Owl, you gotta check her out. She has short playlists on everything disturbing Dawn and Candace Wells have ever. Oh, listen, that is a perfect comment to come right out of the gate with Marlena. And like I said, y'all are huge on blast today. So if you get your comment up there, you're gonna be all over someone's 80-inch TV because we're doing big comments today. I got you. If you can drop me a link or send me an email. Laura, thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you and all of you out there. Appreciate you. Big hugs. Thank you guys so much. So much. And I haven't got a haircut lately, guys, because I'm cold. I need to get a haircut, but I'm so freezing. I can't keep my head warm. Emily says, Jay, wearing my Guilty of Crime hoodie. I randomly got it in the mail last week. Thank you. It was a nice surprise. You're very welcome. And please do tell the people in chat the quality of merchandise that we have. You tell me that's not a dope. Not only is it a good quality, but the prints are on point. So thank you to Tiff, who's not here today. Happy birthday to her 5-year-old. I won't say his name because, kids. Clark, big hug to you, Jay. I'm sending cash to help, and Reese on the 16th. Thank you, my love. Thank you. We do it all together. Like I said, it's not even close. I could not do this without you guys. Member for 7 months. Krista, you've been here for way longer than 7 months, but girl, thank you. Amazing quality, so soft and cozy. Love it. I wear mine, and baby Guilty wears hers nonstop. We're always sporting Guilty of Crime, and I gotta tell you, yeah, Tiff makes the quality merch, and she barely marks it up. She barely marks it up. You go to other people's channels, you're paying $75 to get a hoodie shipped. I assure you, we're almost 50% less than that. And, I got to give praise to my girl, Tiff, that does that for us. So what's up? There you go. Did I misunderstand you when you said monkey? Michael Monkey Vaughn, Michael Monkey Vaughn, the little boy that disappeared. Yeah, Michael Monkey that disappeared. They've now renewed the case, and they found the body, right? They found the body buried where it should have been, where they thought it was, the two people or many all along. So we don't give up hope for anybody. And I need to give attention to little beautiful Summer Wells. All right, guys. So that's what we're doing today. And with new content, we're not just going backwards. So perfect timing for those that, are into this case, that want to know what's up. Wind chill, -24. Wow, that's crazy. Frosty After Dark says, wait, what? Yeah, you heard that right. Michael Monkey Vaughn. That case is, I've been ready to go over that for so long. It sounds like you guys need me to do that. And where's Holly? I don't know where Holly is today, actually. I have not talked to her. Holly. I don't know. When I get a chance, I'll try to answer you guys back and etc. The Michael Monkey Von case, yeah, it's heating up. Let me play this and I'll find a clip for you to let you know. I have an episode ready to go. All right. He has not been found, but have the people arrested and they know where he is. His body hasn't been found, but they know who did it. They have the people. It just happened. This just happened recently. That's not correct. I'm not. The case is moving forward, and people are arrested in the Michael Monkey case. They have two of the people, I think three, still in custody. So I have a whole case to cover that. They are moving forward. That's not correct, and I'm not covering that today. But I do have the details of the people in there. I've got interviews from the people. His body hasn't been found. His body hasn't been found, but just like Harmony Montgomery, arrests have been made, and they know where to look. They know what's going on. Yeah, Stacy and Sarah are locked up. Stacy's facing hefty charges, and they've been talking the whole time. So you know what I need to do? What I need to do is, yeah, they haven't been arrested on that, but they're moved forward. They've said we're Michael Monkey, and I don't know. I'm not covering that today. So if you guys want me to cover that case, then we can do that. And Frosty, of course, it's a big difference. I'm just talking to you guys and telling you it's moving forward. They have suspects. They narrowed in on where the body could be. They haven't given us any new information. Holly, thank you for coming in. I will get to that case and cover it because we really do need to cover it, and I have been following it. I absolutely think Stacy's going to talk. I think everybody's going to turn on everybody. I have interviews lined up. I've got the mom, one of her latest interviews, and I would love to get the mom to come on here. So I have been working on that. And thank you, Emily. The body has not been found, but they know where to look for the Michael Monkey Vaughn. And that's 4.5 years later. I'm not basically throwing out misinformation, Sky Maiden. That's not what I'm doing at all. Nobody's basically throwing out misinformation. I'm telling you that the case is moving forward. Okay, so let's be respectful. All right, I don't ever throw out misinformation. We're talking about the case, and I'm not covering that today. So yes, thank you, my mods, and Emily. I know you're not a mod, but yeah, please dismiss yourself. We don't throw misinformation. I'm talking to you guys about that case and why I have hope that the Summer Wells case will be um, solved. After this, I'll show you a quick clip for you. Yeah, bye. Kiki says bye. Bye, Felicia. Bye. All right, I'll pull up a clip right after this to show you in a quick nutshell what's happened in the Michael Monkey case and everything that is going. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I knew that they made arrest, but I didn't know if they had found the body yet. But we're getting there. All right, so the real ICU, thank you. Yeah, we don't put misinformation, and if I do, it gets corrected immediately. Yeah, we don't want to give up on Summer, or Sebastian, or Michael Monkey. So let's go. All right. Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, people. All right, listen, we're gonna start off with this. This is from 3 years ago when Candace called 911 to report Don Wells. It's a quick clip, and then we're gonna get into everything else. All right. And I do pray that as well, but I don't think so. I mean, the statistics, they're so bad. I was listening to that today on this case.
Report from the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office. Officers were called to the Wells residence around 12:30 a.m. January
Information.
19 in reference to
I
an open 911 line. On their way, dispatchers told officers that they could hear arguing in the background of the line, then lost contact. When officers arrived to the scene, Candace Bly, mother of missing 5-year-old Summer Wells, told officers that Don Wells had hit her, grabbed her by the throat, and pushed her against the wall. Candace said she believed broken, and when officers asked how it happened, Candace reportedly stated that she hit it on a washing machine when Don Wells grabbed her by the throat. Bly said the incident had occurred roughly 2 to 3 hours before the call.
Thank you.
Candace said they both had been drinking alcohol. Don Wells told officers that they had been arguing, but he had not touched her, and that Candace had been drinking before Don arrived home around 7:30 p.m. earlier that night. The report specifies that Candace used her left hand to put her shoes on, well as her left thumb to flick a cigarette. Officers said they did not see any marks on Candace's neck and did not see any bruising or swelling on her thumb. EMS
Thank
on
you.
scene examined Bly and said the thumb appeared to be stubbed. Both Candace and Dawn were referred to private prosecution on the matter, and the report says.
And thank you, guys. For those of you that crime crew people are here, yeah, I'm gonna bring that up right after this, just to really correct myself and give you everything. Confessions are in. They're looking. They have the spot, and I'm really surprised about this because in that case, 4.5 years later, they might just find a body. And Summer Wells' case, I don't think that she's with us anymore. I think it's it's a very low possibility that she's alive, but I do think that Dawn and Candace absolutely know what happened. I think Summer Wells was SA'd several times and abused by both parents and other people in their family and the tweakers that hang around them.
Neither were arrested, with the primary aggressor unknown.
All right, let's do this real quick, since I do not, even though we're not covering this, let me put this up for you real quick. Not this. This just popped up. All right, here we go. Check this out, guys. Let me show you. A lot of you guys rely on my coverage. All right, so I did recap Michael Monkey Vaughn. Murder charges filed in the case of 5-year-old missing Michael Monkey Vaughn, Stacy. All right, this was a month ago. Hidden True Crime, a confession. These people are in court. Some are behind bars. I haven't kept up with what's happened in the courts, but Michael Monkey Vaughn's mother wants justice 3 weeks ago. There's Stacy Wandra, the man accused of killing Michael Monkey Vaughn. He's in court. He waives extradition. All right. And it's probably going to be a no body murder, period. All right. So that, and then let me read this quick recap for you. Key developments. December 2025, authorities in Idaho have formally charged Stacy Wandra with first-degree murder, kidnapping, and destruction of evidence in the connection of 5-year-old Michael Monkey Vaughn. Recently released affidavit implicates multiple individuals, and one of Wandra's former roommates, Brandon Shirtliff, was released from jail after serving time on an unrelated event. All right, murder charges were filed in October 2025, a couple months ago in Payette County. Prosecutors announced charges against Stacy Wandra, Michael's former neighbor, 4 years after he went missing in July 2021. Court documents reveal the claims that several residents of the Wandra household may have been involved in Michael's disappearance. And there's leaked footage of January 2025 body cam video surfaced showing a police on a FaceTime video call with a man once considered a suspect discussing where Michael's body might be buried in a Fruitland backyard. All right, please clarify they were not responsible for that. And there's a whole bunch of other crazy mess going on in the case that I have not updated myself on in the last month since I put the show together. So I corrected my mistake. If anybody feels like I didn't, be respectful. No. All right, let's do this. So I got I told you about the 911 call. I'm going to play that real quick, and then we're going to get into how bad things are in this case with Mr. Deception Detective. Hold on. Right. I hope Deception Detective decides to roll on by, because I love his coverage and just the way he thinks about these cases. So let's take that out. How y'all doing today? Yes, prayers for Brandy Vaughn. That poor lady, man. I am just rooting for her like no other. I just feel so terrible for the things that she's gone through, and it's heartbreaking, guys. All right, so this is the 911 call. Summer Wells is already missing, June 15th, 2021, and this was the 911 that we just talked about a second ago. All right, so let's keep going. Good to see you, Rose. How you doing? Anonymous, how you doing? Prayers for Brandy. 911 call for which case? So we're covering Summer Wells. Okay, Summer Wells, new evidence sparks theories and ideas in the case, clues, and now we go inside the Wells home. All right, I'm not covering Michael Monkey Vaughn. I was just making conversation with the crime crew as I was setting up my channel. So, all right, we're going to go. We prayers for Michael, Monkey Vaughn, and family, and Brandy, and everybody. We are going to get into that on another day. But right now, we're covering Summer Moon, Utah Wells. She needs justice. We haven't found her. There was a 911 call, several 911 calls that came out. This is a 911 call that was released about the domestic violence. This is not the dispatch call from 911, which I was told that one person called, another person piggybacked. This is from the clip we just saw where there was domestic violence from Dawn and Candace. All right. All right. Yes. I was updating you while I was getting ready versus just sitting there and being quiet while you listen to me do nothing. So maybe next time I'll just say nothing. All right. I know some about Summer's case from TUR and the lab. All right. Let's listen to this and then we're going to get into everything else. I really wanted you guys to hear the dysfunction in the family. There's a bunch of RSOs. It's just so much. And if you don't know the backstory, you can probably dig for hours trying to figure it out. All right. What is this? Okay, this is a 911 call made from a different channel. We also showed Dawn clearing up the public with Candace as she withdrew her complaint. All right. All right. Ooh, that's loud. Yep. All right, and it's kind of hard to hear, but if you can't see it, the words are on there for a reason. Candace is on the phone with 911, and this is related to the last clip I showed you. And she withdrew the domestic violence. She's saying he's hurting my daughter on a 911 call. Which I believe is what happened to Summer. I do believe Dawn probably abused her in many ways. Summer, that is. Yes. You don't understand. Mommy, you could hear the child in the background, okay? He's hurting my daughter, Candace 911. Mommy, this call is creepy, but it gives you a huge insight into the abuse that I believe is in that family. Yeah.
This road here in Hawkins County was where Summer Wells was last seen 1 week ago. It's also where her father, Donald Wells, was arrested back in October over a domestic assault incident. That incident led to her mother filing an order of protection against him the following day. Tonight, Summer's father tells us that he and his wife have put that incident behind them, and all they want is for their daughter to come home safe.
That's all we can hope for is for God to produce a miracle for all the Christian folks around here, because there's so many people praying.
Authorities say Summer Wells' parents have cooperated during the investigation, but according to Hawkins County court documents, this is not the first time officers were dispatched to the home on Ben Hill Road. They were there on October 14th for a domestic assault. Summer's mom, Candace Bly, told officers Donald Wells came home drunk and saw someone else in the house.
And guess what, guys? I'm sure that happened often. We're going to also go inside of the house after we get to some of the juicy deception detective stuff so that you guys can see the disgustingness. No child should have lived there. I absolutely believe Summer Wells was abused sexually on a regular basis. All right. If not by her father solely, by other people that probably had drug ties with them, and a lot of parents do that, especially ones that are dealing with drugs and meth, and those people that are all RSOs. That happens. So Summer Wells is actually, it sucks that she's not with us, but I think that she had a terrible life. She looked abused. She just looked underdeveloped and abused. I didn't particularly enjoy being pregnant. Imagine all the kids only not to care for them. Like, why? And that happens every day. What's up, Lil Red? Good to see you, my friend.
And believed that Bly was cheating on him.
I was in Utah, so she was thinking one thing and I was thinking another, and but once we got to talk and figure things out, we smoothed it all out. I mean, it's just we weren't on the same page, a lack of communication.
The following day, Bly filed an order of protection against Wells. In the order, she says Wells drinks and throws things and that he was mentally and physically abusive. She said, quote, "I am afraid for my children and myself."
Because we were fighting, of course.
So you guys think now, you don't think that something didn't happen in that household and they stuck together? That's what I think. I think something absolutely, but that's what we're going to talk about after this. I just had to give you guys a quick, look at these people. If you don't know anything about this case or you forgot.
People are going to tell the police whatever to get their way. We worked it out. She's apologized to me.
4 days later, Bly asked for the charges to be dismissed. Wells pleaded guilty to possession of a handgun while under the influence and turned the weapon over to the sheriff's office. The domestic assault charges and unlawful possession of a handgun were dismissed.
She went to the district attorneys. She even talked to the judge and told him that she made a serious mistake. And, and that's the end of it. She didn't get hurt, and I never hurt nobody.
After a full.
All right, and we realize, I think all of us have the wool pulled off from our eyes, right? We're not thinking that what he's saying is correct. She probably backed out of the domestic violence because she didn't want to have to deal with going to court and then having to be sober long enough to even do that. So I think the same thing happened. I think they're together at this point at a convenience. That's what I think. I hear all kinds of crazy stuff about them swapping partners, both of them, literally, and it's gross. All right, so let's get into this. This one just came out 4 days ago, and I've been patiently waiting for Deception Detective. They finally gave up, is what he calls it. Hold on. My internet is so slow, guys. I don't know why, but thank you for your patience. All right. Let's see if we can get this to roll. I even downloaded it. You guys still with me here? Oh my goodness, it's not working, guys. Fastest, it says it won't share screens. Okay, here we go.
Miles from the Wells family home on Ben Hill Road, where Summer was reported missing. And last week, law enforcement conducted a search on this road in the 3500 block. We did reach out to Don and Candace after the TBI confirmed a recent search in their daughter's case. They said they do not want to be in.
All right, so we're up to speed now. This is the newest search and lots of new theories, assumptions, accusations in the Summer Wells case. All right, so that's what we're covering today. Summer Wells, new evidence sparked theories inside the Wells home, which we're going to look into. Minor says, that's okay, Jay. You can just talk to us and entertain us. Boop. As long as I entertain you without giving false information, right? Yes. And then that's why I wanted to do this, because every time I come on here and cover this, people tell me about the CPS and the children that got out of custody. And did you see the house? So I'm trying to put the most pertinent information in here today. I got you to laugh though, right? Boop. All right. New lead in the Summer Wells case update. Sparks a lot of people talking now, which is wild. All right. Mama Sage, thank you for being a member for 12 months. And then Foxy, thank you. for the 420 membership. If you got one, say boop to the person that gave it to you. All right, let's keep going.
Interviewed as they are waiting to hear more from the TBI and, quote, otherwise, it is just more drama and stirred pain, so there was nothing to say, end quote.
I think Don and Candace Wells know what happened to their missing daughter, Summer. It's not just because of their odd reaction to this new lead. So in today's video, let's watch their most recent interview together and count all the red flags. I'm Deception Detective, an attorney trained in statement analysis. This channel exposes lies and manipulation. So if that's your thing, hit subscribe. For early access to new videos, over 60 exclusive videos, and other cool perks, consider becoming a channel member. Link in description. Whether you're brand new to this case or you've been following it with me since day one, you might not be up to speed with the latest developments about this brand new as his and Candace's.
Hold on. I don't know what's up with my internet, guys. I apologize.
Stopped by his office today and were told that he wasn't in. The TBI couldn't tell us what the tip about Summer was that led them here to Van Hill Road, or if anything came of it. In Hawkins County, Ansley Daniel, News Channel 11.
Those are the cliff notes, and as you can already see, the red flags are flying. We have parents of a missing child who don't seem enthusiastic about a potentially really good new lead. In fact, they don't seem hopeful about it at all.
And just so you all know, they're not talking now. They are saying they're not going to talk. They don't want to make a statement. I don't know why. No, if you go back, Cal, you'll see they have made arrest, but they don't have his Michael Vaughn's body yet. They think they know where it is, but I'll update you guys. I'll cover that next week so we can all get up to speed. You guys, this is why I wanted to cover this back to back with Sebastian, because these cases are similar in the way these parents react. All right, BB, good to see you. Brady says, just click that like. There's only 157 likes. Let's get it up. Yeah, thank you. If you guys like what I do and you enjoy the channel, hit that like button. It's free. Running Bear, I'm glad you're here. They don't want to get caught up, but it's weird because at the 4-year mark, they were talking. Don Wells he sat on the bench and they talked about, no, I didn't say they found him. I said they have an area. I corrected myself. They didn't find Michael Monkey Vaughn. If you want to go back, they've made arrest and they've narrowed in on where his body might be. They have not found Michael Monkey Vaughn yet. Right? Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Man, one misstep of what I'm saying, and everybody's like, whoa.
We have authorities who seem content to simply search for Summer without actually doing much investigating, like pressuring the parents, the most likely suspect when a preschooler goes missing. And finally, we have a father, Don Wells, who didn't exactly give me the warm and fuzzies the last time we analyzed him. I'll link that video on the end card so you can watch it next. But here's a quick clip just so you can get a gist of it before we analyze his and Candace's last interview.
Summer's mother, Candace, has only spoken to us on camera once. She declined to be a part of this interview minutes before we started recording.
She wanted to, but all them fears started creeping up, you know.
All right, guys, listen, if we get to 300 likes, Foxy's going to give y'all a Foxy box. And that, boop. All right, guys, so thank you. Thank you for being here. Good to see you, Coffee and Dog Studios. Love you from California. Lisa says, I think you're absolutely adorable. Boop. Well, thank you. Right back at you, girl. All right, let's keep going. I have to cover Michael Monkey Vaughn now, and I'll do it next week. I'll let you guys know so I can get you up to speed with the interviews, with the arrests, what people are saying, where they're pointing, where Michael might have been buried and moved. All right.
Of what happened, you know, in the beginning with the social media and everything, hunting us down everywhere we go and trying to basically ruin us everywhere we go, and she's just having nightmares.
After Summer's disappearance, the Wells' 3 oldest boys were put into Department of Children's Services custody, with Dawn and Candace eventually citing their rights over.
We haven't received any updates from them, no contact.
This clip showed a pattern of inconsistencies we've seen across a bunch of missing child cases, which I consider to be.
Hold on, let me move that down. We don't want to miss his face. We like him.
We have a vulnerable kid who supposedly just wanders off into the woods. However, even the most extensive and sophisticated of search operations can't find a single trace of where they went, almost as if the kid either turned into a ninja or a Navy SEAL overnight, or they never went into the woods at all. Next, we have the mom, who was either there at the time that the kid disappeared, or was the one who noticed that the kid was gone. Yet she's not the one who does press. Instead, it's the dad who has way less information about what happened doing all the press. But the biggest red flag of all, the parents reserve most of their anger and vitriol and complaints for their critics, rather than the person who supposedly kidnapped their kid.
And guys, I didn't stop it. Listen, I didn't stop it when we just heard them saying the media is messing up their what? What did he say? He said the media is following them around and messing up their what? What, the search for Summer? Because if my dog went missing, my child went missing, if I had a parrot and it went missing and the media was following me around, you better damn sure believe that I'm going to take every opportunity to talk to that camera and say, bring my daughter home. I'm not going to say they're chasing me down and messing up what I'm doing. What, you're trying to get your drugs and you can't because the media is following you to the meth house? That doesn't make sense. Make that make sense. Coffee and Dog Studio, thanks so much for the Guilty of Crime membership. Pink Warrior, so good to see you. And Malari Justice for Summer Wells. All right. Thank you.
Rather each other, because after all, in all these cases, one parent was alone at the time the kid disappeared. How could they possibly know that that parent didn't do something? That's why so many actual innocent parents of missing children, like the parents of Dylan Ayler, end up splitting up because that doubt eats at them. If my theory about what happened to Summer Wells is correct, it's the most disturbing missing child case we've ever analyzed on the channel. Obviously, there's much more.
And it is very disturbing on the surface as well. What's up? What's up, Michael? Good to see you. Boop. All right. It's very disturbing because, in my opinion, everything that is in this case is terrible things that you wouldn't want for your children at all. All right. You guys are awesome. I love you guys. Bratty little me says, dang it, Jay. I just booped my son's nose. Stop it. I love you guys. This is why I do this so we can get the children's voices, so we can talk to the families, and so you guys can be in the know. All right. They are a mess, but I think the only reason that they are still together, number one, convenience. Number two, they have dirt on each other. Listen, guys. Number three, I just watched the original interview the day or the in the time frame where Summer went missing in the first interview. Candace Wells, for being on meth all the time, she said that it was 2 minutes. Literally, she turned around for 2 minutes and looked away. And then we listened to the 911 call about Dawn hurting her children and the child saying, Mommy. That's guilty knowledge, yes. But besides that, they're stacking up. The things are stacking up. And yeah, when they're doing their meth-tivities, all the mathematicians, they don't want us in their business. Someone needs to boop these parents. I'll let you do that.
More to that video, and like I said, I'll link it on the end card so you can watch it next. But for our purposes today, here's the two main takeaways. First, Summer isn't the only child Don and Candace have lost. Their other children, Summer's brothers, were taken away by CPS not long after she vanished. Second, as soon as YouTubers like myself started poking holes in the Wells version of events, Candace became very camera shy, which is why we have to go back a year to analyze the last time she and Don Wells appeared on camera together in a TV interview. And based on her performance, I don't blame her for never doing one of these again. So without further ado, let's watch.
We have pushed investigators for months.
Well, here's the thing, guys. Listen, people do need to get help, but when you're a lifer, and I see you in chat, y'all are asking questions or saying, how can someone be overweight doing meth? Well, if you're a lifer, you wake up, probably eat a sandwich, and then do your drugs. It doesn't even matter. Clementine says, quit moving, Jay. I'm trying to boop your nose. Okay. Boop. There you go. All right. First interview with bold parents, a sermon on the mountain. All right. Okay. Then if it wasn't the first interview, I didn't see any mountain, but it was the very first time I heard Candace talk in a 12-minute interview. And boy, did she say some things that I want Deception Detective to go back on because it was wild. Maybe that is the interview you're talking about, Corey. Again, we could cover this for like 8 hours and go backwards to cover all this stuff. The 12-minute interview I watched was completely off base from anything that the parents are saying today. 2 minutes, that we know that wasn't right. We know the 2-minute mark. And how could she have gotten somewhere in 2 minutes without somebody being there, without them knowing someone's coming all the way up the hill? How do you get down that driveway or get near that area without somebody knowing in 2 minutes? Not
To
possible.
learn about new details or updates in this case. What we do know is that her family continues their search to bring Summer home. I spoke with both Dawn and Candace Wells in Kingsport at a place with deep meaning to Summer's disappearance. Borden Park is anything but quiet this time of year. But 3 years ago, it was filled almost weekly with people praying for Summer Wells.
I see all these families, you know, with their kids and how much they enjoy them and stuff. And we were stripped away from all our kids. All our kids have been.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really know that she made it to the road. I did hear what they said about the scent, and I mean, there's so many different things. She lived there, so her scent could have made it to the road another time. We have no idea, but the story, in my opinion, doesn't make sense, and it's really hard to say she made it to the road. Which time did she make it to the road? I ask you that, right? And there's so many people that have so many different theories. My theory is it's simple as it's clear as day and just simple as can be. It's not as complicated as we might think it is. All right. Hey, Daisy Duke and Pink Warrior.
Kidnapped from us by DCS, and we're not sure about Summer, but we know about where our boys are at.
While the prayer vigils are now few and far between,
not even a worry, huh? We don't know about Summer, but the boys are. We know where they're not, and we know where they are. No concern. I mean, these people are lifers, guys.
Dawn and Candace Wells haven't stopped praying that their daughter Summer will be found.
We have hope, always. I mean,
yep.
But there's not much hope in this world. It's like, you know, we have to trust God that there's hope in eternal life in heaven.
As I always say on the channel, lying is hard, which is one of the reasons I think Candace Wells stopped doing interviews, because I think she recognizes that she's a bad liar. But people like Don Wells or John Ramsey or Chris Proudfoot, people I consider to be psychopathic liars, don't feel that shame or trepidation about telling a lie on TV and potentially.
Bam. I love that he threw that in there. And I was waiting for this man's his deception detective skills to kick in. And listen, DD, if you're watching this or you stop through, or anybody that any of you guys that go to his channel, please ask him to cover that new Katie Proudfoot interview on Sebastian's birthday. Please. I really want to hear what he has to say about that. I'm patiently waiting. All right. Patiently, impatiently. All right.
Getting caught out. They think they're smarter than everyone when in reality psychopaths have lower IQs than the average person, which is why Don appears to have immediately contradicted himself here about the hope they have. Do they have hope that they can find Summer, or do they think she's dead and hope that there's an afterlife? Likewise, what's his theory about what happened? He uses the word kidnapping about CPS taking his sons, but he also says that Summer was kidnapped and that they don't know what happened. So do they not know what happened, or was she kidnapped? Or is kidnapping to him a situation where someone can take your kid from you with your consent because you're put in a position where you can't say no? Because if that's his definition of kidnapping, then I do think he thinks Summer was kidnapped, because my theory about this case is that they willingly gave her to someone in exchange for something. I'll link my entire playlist.
Now, guys, that is a possibility. I still don't think when you have 3 people that are committing a crime, or 4 or 5, it's likely to come out at some point unless the other person is dead, right? What's that old saying about you have 2 people telling the tale? One of them, the only time you're not going to get the story when the other one's dead, something like that. You know what I'm talking about. I don't think that there was another person involved. I think there were other nefarious people involved, and that Summer was rented out to those people, so to speak, including Don. But I don't think that it was like, hey, but never know. They could have had a drug debt that they had to pay off with Summer. I agree with that. Isn't a lot dead in this case? What does that mean? We're up to speed right now, so I'm not sure.
If you want to see how we came to that theory and all the nuances, because I do know that it sounds really crazy, but it's the best theory we have for this case based on the parents' own words. All right, let's keep listening.
Summer was reported missing on June the 15th of 2021.
We know that she was taken off her property, and we know she was taken away in a vehicle, or they would have found her in the area if she was someone.
Again, that's oddly specific, isn't it? That's oddly specific. He's saying, I know she was taken off the property. I know. I mean, this is, and there you go. I mean, I know. That's my conclusion with DD. I mean, I'm with that. I'm halfway with that and halfway with something bad happened and they were renting her out previous to that. Absolutely. And Candace knows everything as well. All right. You have TNT. You're in Tennessee. Tennessee Twister. I've helped in searching for Summer. I have been here from the beginning. Oh, well, awesome. I'm glad to have your input. You say she made it to the road. And yeah, how does he know? Right. Well, what about Chris Proudfoot? Well, we heard yesterday. How did he know that Sebastian was kidnapped and that if he runs away, they're not going to be able to know who it is because nobody knows about it? What?
In the area. But who's responsible for her? We don't know.
I asked Don and Candace when was the last time they heard from investigators.
We haven't lately at all. It's been a while, over a year, I think. I haven't talked to any law enforcement at all. I tried to talk to the FBI agent about it, but that didn't go anywhere.
Don says he feels that he and his wife Candace were targeted by the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office.
They intimidated us, they belittled us, and done everything they could amidst all the chaos. And then the CPS was there doing the same thing.
Don didn't say he doesn't know who's responsible for kidnapping Summer. He just said he doesn't know who's responsible for her. And that might be an example of leakage. Leakage is such an important concept in statement analysis that it's actually a card in my deception deck, my 52 favorite rules for spotting lies and manipulation. I've put that on your screen now if you want to read the full rule, but the gist is this: liars can sometimes unintentionally reveal the truth through their choice of words. And that's because it's challenging to suppress a real memory while telling a falsehood. In this case, Don might be unintentionally revealing that he knows Summer's out there alive.
And y'all already, I see y'all in here. You guys are deception detective people talking about leakage, etc. Right? Normally I pull out the deck and I start going with it, but we're going to talk about this today. What do you guys think about? What do you think about the Hunter? What do you think about Hunter and the shed at the bottom? I want to know from those that have been involved. We're going to put that up next. We're going to look inside. We have a lot more to talk about, but I want to know what you think about that, the shed at the bottom. And the interview room has been covering this heavily. I got this clip I want to show you. I want to know what y'all think. Right, Jay, I really want you to dig into the fact that Candace's sister was taken also and never found. I've also wondered, did he do it? Interesting. I mean, there's so many things, though. There's so many things to look at. And that's what we're going to get at today, Coffee and Dog Studios. But I would be happy to look into Candace's sister being taken also. There's just so many things. And Running Bear says, I think Hunter has guilty knowledge. We're going to look at that right after this. Guys, all you need to do is hit 300 likes. There's 451 people. Just a little bit ago, we had 502 people. Get to 300. And we're going to give a Foxy box, guys. You're going to want those. All right. And Kitty, I'm glad you love DD. I do too.
Someone else's care, but he just doesn't know who that person is, which would make sense if my theory about this case is correct, as unlikely as it is. But the biggest red flag is coming up next. Listen closely.
When asked about how he thinks about Summer's disappearance 3 years later, Don spoke about a Department of Children's Services investigation.
They said somebody had called and said that we was giving our kids loaded guns to play with.
That's it right
and
there.
So they closed the case June 14th, which is something CPS does not do. They don't just cases. So it's really odd and mystifying why they closed the case June 14th, and then 24 hours later, Summer's gone.
Summer's mother, Candace, sat in for part of our interview, but got up after a few questions.
She was going to try, but her emotions are just too much.
The last update in the summer.
She's going to try, but her emotions too much. We weren't able to get our mathematician today to, there's no urgency to, it's already been 3 years now. What's the difference? That's what I hear. No urgency, guys. No, I mean, it's never been. They've been so whacked out of their minds the entire time. It's like 3 years later, they're still talking. And 4 years now. That was the 3 year when that interview. But at the 4 year, they're still talking just the way they did at the beginning. No urgency, with a lot of definitive statements by both of them. It makes no sense. All right. I think Hunter and Candace were busy and Summer drowned. Then it was all covered up. Again, there's another huge possibility. Not what I am thinking, but it's still a possibility that can't be ruled out.
Wells' case from law enforcement was an age-progressed photo released in June of last year. This image was released by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation.
There's obviously exceptions, but a good rule of thumb is those who have nothing to hide don't hide anything at all. So the fact that Candace is so reticent in such a softball interview is a giant red flag. But a far bigger one, CPS getting involved in their lives just 24 hours before Summer went missing, because that would be a clear-cut motive for getting rid of her when they did if they knew CPS would have found signs of abuse on her body, or they were worried about what she might say. If you've been here a while, you'll know I think motives are a nice to have, not a must have, and that's because people aren't as rational as they are in the movies or TV shows. So the fact that we potentially have a motive at all, especially such a glaring, time-sensitive one, is a gigantic red flag. If you want to continue the series, let me know by liking, commenting, and sharing. Until next time.
Oh, we're continuing this, buddy, and we got you now for more. Now, listen, that's eerie too, but you know what picture was really eerie to me? Was the barrel that said for sale where Summer was hanging out. Many people absolutely think that was an indication of what was to come, that she was actually sold. And many of you today still think that. All right. So let's before we get back into the next one, I've got some stuff I got to show you. We're going to do we're going to do a walkthrough. I'm going to show you the shed, and then we're going to get back to the next DD, and then we're going to go inside of their house so you can see what's happening there, just in case you forgot, and you'll remember, and maybe you'll start to think, okay, maybe this was something different than I thought.
Stay true.
All right, well, stay true, guys. I hope you all are subscribed to DD. All right, in my opinion, she drowned, you say. All right, there's so many different ways to go. Yeah, disgusting, nasty house. All right, let me do this. I still got the Michael Monkey Vaughn thing up. Now I have to do that episode since I put my foot in my mouth, so to speak. What's up, twin mommies? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. All right. Hey, Jay, mods and crime crew. How are you doing? We're doing fantastic. Hit that like button. We're trying to get to we need 300 likes, guys, and we're giving out a Foxy box. Summer's bedroom was a dungeon, Clar says. All right, listen, the interview room does fantastic coverage of this, and I wanted to show you this clip, Summer Wells, and it says Hunter, it's done. All right, so let's take a look at this. It's never sat well with me that the shed was on Don Wells' mind the day Summer went missing. All right, that's the shed at the bottom of the hill. Let's look into this and see what you all think. And thank you, interview room. We don't need.
Oh, my child, I know. Yeah. You're hurt and you can't let go.
All right, I don't want to listen to this music.
It's not your fault and you don't deserve.
We're just gonna look at that. We're gonna look at that. I'm gonna take the music off. But what do y'all think of the shed at the bottom of the property? They're still playing music. Interview room thinks that Don Wells had that way too heavily on his mind. He thinks that the shed is very important. The cleanup, the clearing takes you to the house directly. All right, so. I just want to know what you think. The music started off creepy. That's creepy, but let me move this out of the way. All right. Interview room thinks it's important, and they think that Don Wells has just talked about this way too many times for there not to be a significance to it. Is it all music? Yeah. A closer, I guess we can listen to a little music. Hopefully not. Be a good man inside. What do you all think about that? Everything that you thought. Does anyone think the shed is not just creepy, but there's a significance? Didn't seem to do you any good. I was actually going to say that to you guys. I was going to say that shed is actually much nicer than the house. The windows they put in, and wait till we get to the house, guys. All right. Will anyone have any thoughts? Absolutely, Lisa, absolutely. I think that absolutely was a pedo shed. I think besides that, have you been searching, Candace Wells? Look, I think there's a significance to that. Marlena thinks that she got traded or sold. Look at that, right on Candace. Candace is real. She's an interesting character in this story, isn't she? Oh God, have you been cooperating? The whole family is just. I mean, we can be in a rabbit hole on this case for another 4 hours just today, right? The world's aware of you, Summer, and that's why we're doing this. The new information coming out's not much, but we're hoping for more. The world is aware of you, Summer. Over 4 years now. Yes, I agree. Poor little thing. She's so pretty. Thank you, Interview Room, for that. We got to remember the victims are why we're here, right? We would even be here looking at Dawn and Candace if it weren't for this little angel and the rest of the children that they abused. I wish they would talk. I wonder what they've been told or what they've seen, what they've heard. All right, I'll keep that up there for a second. Amber Alert, Summer Wells, 800 TBI find. I wonder what the other children would have to say about any of this. All right, they're not with them anymore. The shed's creepy, but why was that on Dawn Wells' mind so heavily? That's a good thank you for that, Justice. I think the shed was the drop-off point for Summer, in my opinion. And guys, I hate to say this, but those cadaver dogs, how can they tell the difference? Well, not the cadaver dogs. They can find, the trace of a dead body or dead human, but how can we know where oh my God, how could we know where Summer went when she was always there? Right? It's kind of like when you have a husband and a wife, and the husband takes the life of the wife, and their handprints and everything's all over the house. How can you prove who did what when you're there all the time? All right, the shed may have been the last place Dawn saw Summer, right? RSOs, just like the Proudfoots, right? RSOs in the family. She was weakened from the abuse. And that last picture I showed you, many people said that they think she was alive. But in my opinion, I don't know. I don't know. All right. Now my internet is so slow today, guys. I apologize for leaving blank screens up. California doesn't like it when it's when it's less than like 60 degrees, apparently. All right, we're going to do this, and then we're going to go inside of the home. Deception detective says, I didn't want to do this. All right, let's get into this. And we can talk more about what you think happened. And I'd be happy to concentrate further on specific, because it's too much to do in one episode with everything, right? All right.
Their agents, along with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and the FBI, continue to investigate into summer. They say that last week, all right, guys. Today, the TBI confirmed that their agents, along with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and the FBI, continue to investigate what happened to Summer. They say that last week, their agents, along with the detectives, were at a location in the 3500 block of Van Hill Road in Greenville, following up on a lead in the case. That's about 9.5 miles from the Wells family home on Ben Hill Road via State Route 347. Now, we followed up with the TBI asking if they could provide details about the nature of the tip, if anything substantiated.
Now, I hope you guys understand, you people in true crime that are here all the time understand that in true crime, there's never coincidences from a perspective of a detective or, let's say, Jason, right? Jason Jensen, that's what I should have done, was tag these guys. If you were here yesterday for the Sebastian Rogers case, Jason Jensen rolled by. He even said he would offer his services to help find Sebastian. And Jason Jensen has been working on this case, guys. And the last case that I saw was the Rosie, what is it? Rosie Tapia case, 30 years. What's up, my girl Tiff? Look at, she decided to roll on in. We said happy birthday to your baby, by the way. Happy 5th year. I didn't give his name because, All right. Acting badly. If she drowned, died in a vehicle, the distance from the accident to home, with the heat that day, a cadaver dog would have hit. No cadaver hits. Right. Fred Hill claims that the illicit sales were going on in that shed years ago. Jason Jensen tagged him today because I really would have liked him to stop by and tell us a little bit about this, but I think I'll reach out to him now and I'll come back and report to you guys. So here we go. Let's keep going.
From it and how long it had been since their agents followed up on a lead like this in the field.
That's the latest development in the search for missing Tennessee Tot Summer Wells, but I wouldn't get my hopes up. I don't think the TBI is suited to solve this case. So in today's video, let's watch an interview with their assistant director, and I'll show you why. I'm Deception Detective, an attorney trained in statement analysis. This channel exposes lies and manipulation. So if that's your thing, hit subscribe. For early access to new videos, over 60 exclusive videos, and other cool perks, consider becoming a channel member. Link in description. If you're watching this video, I assume you're at least familiar with the disappearance of Summer Wells.
All right, welcome in for all the people that just rolled in. Hit that like button. I think we're giving a Foxy box away. We just need 300 likes, guys. All right, Pedo Shed, I think so too. And I also think there was heavy DRUG usage in that area. They tried to probably keep it away from the main area and what they were doing. And I got to tell you, I wish I could see what's inside of that shed right now. All right, let's keep going. The adults alive bleed meth. Exactly, Lisa Marie. That area, I think Deception Detective said the right thing. The TBI is not suited for this case.
From her rural Tennessee home. It's one of my most popular series on YouTube. Still, you might not be up to date with the latest twists and turns in the investigation. So before we grab our deception decks and analyze the TBI assistant director, here's the rest of that update.
TBI and FBI has searched an area this past week in the continued search for Summer Wells. It's our breaking news tonight.
It's been more than 4 years since Summer Wells was last seen. The then 5-year-old was reported missing from her home in the Beech Creek community in Hawkins County.
There's been no sign of the little girl since, and law enforcement from several agencies have worked countless tips over the years. News Channel 11's Ansley Daniel spoke with TBI, who says the case is far from cold. Ansley?
Yeah, Sarah and Casey, there have been more questions than answers.
Well, when you get a rural area like that, that tends to happen. Mama Cat says, I live in Tennessee, and East and rural, middle are huge meth pits. And you know why? Because they have the space and the areas, they have this, what do you call that? They can do all that out there. They're not in like the city. You're not going to do that. You're not going to come to San Jose and have a meth pit. And if you do, you're going to get busted. You don't. That's what I was looking for. They have all the privacy that they want out there. But another thing of having privacy is you don't usually worry about somebody kidnapping your children, driving all the way up and all the way back. You're going to hear it. You're going to know when people come up that road and are on your property because there's nobody there. It's not like a fast moving street where people are in and out. Yes, the real ICU. He came in here yesterday and I told him I was fangirling and he said he was fanning back. All right. So I think I can get a hold of Jason. I'd love to know a little bit deeper about what he knows. I am in the Bay Area. Yes, I'm in San Jose. I am in Bay Area, lovely San Jose, California. There's what, 1.5 to 2 million people? Good luck finding me. Jay, if you can't get a hold of Jason, I can call him and have him reach out to you. Brady, that will be awesome. Can you email me? That would be great. I do have him on Instant Messenger, but I can't call him. So I would take any help that I can to get Jason on my show and let you guys know more about that, about what he knows. I am in Oakland. Yeah, I got a local follower. What's up? All right, let's keep going. You say it's empty. It just has trash in it. No floor and the back wall has fell in. So Chili Billy, don't you think with the shed that it's taken over tapping? They were possibly doing nefarious things, maybe CSAM. Maybe, the whole, they take them back there and do the, you know what I'm saying. All right. Pittsburgh, California. All right, let's keep going and I'll chat with y'all while we're doing this.
Since Summer Wells disappeared from her home in Hawkins County on June 15th of 2021. But today, the TBI confirmed that their agents, along with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and the FBI, continue to investigate what happened to Summer. They say that last week, on November 13th, their agents, along with the detectives, were at a location in the 3500 block of Van Hill Road in Greenville, following up on a lead in the case. That's about 9.5 miles from the Wells family home on Ben Hill Road via State Route 347. Now, we followed up with the TBI asking if they could provide details about the nature of the tip, if anything substantiated from it, and how long it had been since their agents followed up on a lead like this in the field. The spokesperson couldn't tell us those details, but said that agents follow up on leads as they come in.
I want to know why we've got the notification of them getting a lead and it being so close, 9.5 miles from the Wells home. Don and Candace don't want to talk. And I'm hoping that at some point soon that we find out what the hell they were looking for. And I know they don't want to mess up the case, but guys, if they don't say anything soon, then it's probably nothing. It could just be another person that maybe doesn't like Don and Candace, or maybe just wants to intertwine themselves in the case. People tend to do that, but it's real close. And when you look at the statistics of any of these cases, it's like a 90% possibility of kidnapping that it's somebody that you know or that's seen you or been coveting you. It's not just some random person that comes out and snatches you in the night. All right. Meet up and discuss. Oh, we want another meet and greet, huh? I did a meet and greet last week with the crime crew. All right. Who or what 9.5 miles from the Wells home, the Wells family home, which we're going to see next. We're going to go inside the Wells family home next. That's where it's 9.5 miles from. All right.
And the investigation remains active and ongoing. Now, this is the first update outside of law enforcement sharing age-progressed photos and ensuring the case is not cold and that they haven't forgotten about Summer. We also reached out to the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, Ronnie Lawson, and have yet to hear back from him or his office. It's important to note, though, that there is still an active Amber Alert for Summer, and no one has been arrested or charged in connection to her disappearance.
So that's the latest, but is the tip credible? Can the TBI make the most of it? Can it crack the case? If it did crack the case, would it automatically clear Summer Wells' parents of any wrongdoing? If you've binge watched my entire series about this case, you'll already know I'm skeptical about all those things. I doubt this tip is any more credible than the thousands of others the TBI has received. I doubt the TBI can make the most of this lead, even if it is good.
And guys, I really hope that's not the case. I mean, Deception Detective knows what he's talking about. He does a lot of these cases that are so-called cold, which, by the way, law enforcement says this case is not cold, even though it's been 4 years since at the time 5-year-old Summer Wells went missing. All right. It was on January 15th, 2021. She was reported missing at 6:30 p.m. Now, during June, right? During the June months, it stays darker. I mean, it stays lighter longer. It gets dark about 9:30. So give or take at 6:30 p.m. when they reported her missing. I wonder what the time is that she actually went missing before they called, right? I mean, Candace literally said, I turned away for 2 minutes. She was very certain about how long it was. All right. Summer's oldest brother is said to be up for adoption, right? Yeah, they don't have the kids. But I wonder what they have to say. Yes, he definitely knows what he's talking about. Agreed. All right, let's keep going.
And I doubt that it would clear the parents, even if it led to Summer being on someone else's property. And I know that last part might sound strange if you don't know my theory of this case, but don't worry, I'll recap it the next time I pause, because Assistant Director Josh Melton gets straight into that at the start of his interview. So without further ado, let's listen.
We don't have the evidence in this case to know for sure whether or not Summer was abducted or whether or not she walked away from her home and became lost. It's really important to us to not.
All right, listen, guys. Listen, Linda. All right. Children don't just walk away from their house and disappear. We covered Sebastian yesterday, and Katie and Chris said the exact same thing. All right. And that's just not plausible. One has a basement under and a wood stove. We're going to get to that next. We're going to go inside. All right. I'm so bad at this. If I say 2 minutes, it could be 30. Deb. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And you, my friend, are not Candace, who is, every time you see her, is lit out of her mind on METH, right? We've already said a bunch of times she's a mathematician. So how do you think her 2 minutes compares to yours? So her 2 minutes could be what? 2 hours. Listen, Linda, listen. Boop. Look at Linda. Listen. All right, let's keep going.
Focus all of our efforts on just one of those two. We think that the only way we'll be successful in finding Summer is to continue to walk down both of those investigative paths to ensure that we don't become focused on one area alone and miss something that's crucially important. I would say this case has not gone cold. A cold case is typically framed up as a case where there are no tips or leads that are coming in and there are no investigative efforts that are happening because there is no place to travel with the investigation. I would say in this case, thanks to the public, we've continued to have tips and leads that have come in that agents have been able to follow up on continuously.
Now, listen, guys, listen here. Listen, Linda. All right. The 911 call that we listened to prior to this, that was in 2020, and you heard mommy in the background. All right. I believe they said that was Summer Wells saying mommy and Candace saying he's going to hurt my children. So what about that? The domestic violence and them hearing the call and them understanding he's abusive and what's going on in the area. I feel like they didn't look in the proper direction. I mean, wouldn't that give you a lead right from the get-go? I just don't get it. But maybe, just maybe, since Candace decided to say, never mind. Yeah, it was. They said that was Summer. I just wanted to make sure it was. They said that was Summer saying mommy, and Candace telling the dispatcher that Dawn hurts the kid. She's afraid. And then she backpedaled, right? She probably said, hey, go get me my D rugs. He got them. Okay, I'm not gonna turn you in. I need my stuff. All right. So I mean, come on, it's very clear. It's just like Chris, right? Chris and Katie Proudfoot. Chris has CPS calls. We know that he's been aggressive. We've heard that he has 5 ex-wives, or he's been married 5 times, 4 ex-wives. We listened to Nina tell us how abusive he was verbally and how he was towards the children. If that doesn't tell you a lot, I don't know what does. Jay, he bought a car. Jay, he bought her. There you go. Right? Look at Linda. Look at right here. Look at there, Linda. Let him tell you something.
And the agents have worked tirelessly when tips and leads weren't coming in to try to find ways to investigate when typically people would lay down their effort. It has been a great partnership between the community and law enforcement to not let this case sit and go sterile.
First of all, I congratulate the TBI on not considering Summer's case cold and continuing to work it. I also
I didn't see that picked up in the background, but Sharon, what I suspected already was that absolutely Summer was essayed by her dad and other people that they let, just like Jen Soto hands her kid off to whoever to do whatever. All right. And I mean, if that's not a big lead, I don't know what is. Yeah, the feral people. Krista says, I'd like to win a Foxy box, or I'd love to win one. All right. Thank you, Brady. I'll check that right now.
Acknowledge that I have the luxury of just giving my opinion about whether or not I think someone's innocent or guilty without having to worry about proving it beyond a reasonable doubt in court, unlike the TBI. All that said, I'm not thrilled about them congratulating themselves for considering a grand total of 2 theories, abduction or wandering off, because that means they're interpreting every tip they get, even this most recent one, through those 2 narrow filters. And while that normally wouldn't be too big of a problem, the issue is the evidence in this case doesn't support such extreme tunnel vision. For example, I think something completely different happened to Summer. In fact, it's a theory I don't have about any other case we've analyzed on the channel. So here's the recap of my theory from an earlier video in this series where I analyzed Summer's parents on Dr. Phil.
There's trafficking that goes on.
Yeah.
People take children, and I hate to even say this because it's such a horrible thing to think about, but they take children and they sell them.
He knows that. I mean, he's sitting there with and I'm surprised we're able to get this on here. Whenever I put Dr. Phil up, I get freaking striked off. My channel pulls down. But yeah, in my opinion, Dr. Phil is no better than Maury Povich. I'm sorry if you guys do like him or you think I think in the beginning, Dr. Phil started out doing good things, and now I feel like he's just a shoddy, trashy talk show host that doesn't let you play any of his stuff, by the way. He'll just strike you down. So, yeah, at least we get a little information, but Foxy boxes, here we come soon, Darlene.
Sell them into all different kinds of different lives, whether it's sex trade, slave trade, different things. That happens here in LA. It happens there.
Absolutely, it
What
does.
Dr.
especially
Phil
now.
is saying here is one of the theories we have in this case. So if you followed this series since my first video, we've come to a few theories of what could have happened to Summer, and they are among the most extreme and bizarre theories on the channel, just because this whole situation
thought
is extremely bizarre. And it's bizarre based on nothing but the parents' own words. So be mindful when I say that what Dr. Phil says about them potentially selling Summer or allowing someone to take her, someone they know to take her in order to sell her. I don't come to that.
Catch me outside. That's what you're saying, Carla. Catch me outside. You remember the catch me outside girl? Catch me outside. You guys, girl, boys, people. That girl's a straight up rapper now. I just want y'all to know she's like a rapper. And all she did was say, catch me outside on Dr. Phil. So enough said on that, right? Jen Nova, it blows my mind how many people desire children's disgusting. Oh, girl, don't even get me started on that. I'm telling you. Catch me outside. Is that her name? Danielle Bergoli? Oh my God. I looked her up, by the way. And yeah, how about that? She's a straight up rapper. She's making money now. It's the weirdest, wildest thing. One day we're going to have to do members only where we just talk trash with each other. All right. Anyhow, let's keep going. Again, Summer Wells case. New evidence sparks theories and inside the Wells home. We're going to take a look at that. One love, revolutionary. Good to see you, my friend. Tell your mom I said hello and big hugs to her. I haven't seen her in a while. I haven't seen you with her in a while. So look up her net worth. I did. Oh my God. Don't even get me started or I'm going to get off of it. I'm going to get off this subject. Let's keep going. We still got more to come.
Conclusion lightly. It is a possibility simply because the parents themselves have spoken in a way that allows it to be a possibility and have even said themselves in other interviews that it is a possibility. Yes, I know it sounds crazy, but that's my theory of the case based on the parents' own words and the evidence available to us. If you want to see how we got there, I'll link my playlist down below and you can binge watch that next. For the purposes of this video, here's the two main takeaways. If I'm right about this, the new tip wouldn't necessarily clear Summer's parents of any wrongdoing, even if it led to her being discovered on a stranger's property, because Don and Candace Wells, Summer's parents, could have been involved in how she arrived there. Second, the TBI will continue struggling to solve this case if they're primed to only see it as a simple stranger abduction or child wandering off and getting lost. But
yeah, I do wonder about where law enforcement is going with this tip. Why announce this tip and make a big deal out of it and then just follow up with almost nothing? All right. And it boggles my mind that they don't want to talk now. And it's like, what is it about that lead that made them not want to talk all of a sudden? I mean, that's a question to ask. She was sleeping with Dawn and Candace. I'm sure the abuse was happening right in the bed, just like Jen, right? Familial trafficking is my opinion. All right. No, as far as I know, Lisa Marie, I'm pretty sure Candace Wells is into females. Just saying, it takes one to know one, but I've heard some stories about her sleeping with men, women, whatever comes her way. Dawn, too. All right. Candace, Dawn, all of that. I didn't see the mattress, but we're about to look into the house in a minute. Let me play this, and then Wes is screaming. Be Real Tutu, put that tree up. Need to watch the replay. Boop. Yeah, I'm not a Dr. Phil fan, guys, but whatever. I don't like shows like that.
our differing theories aren't the only issue I have with the TBI's approach to this investigation. A far bigger one is coming up. See if you can spot it.
Many people have speculated what they think has happened in this case. The difficult part of the speculation is that if we as investigators speculate and focus our efforts in one direction, we're making a huge mistake. We have to make sure that we're being completely comprehensive as we investigate, and being focused in one direction is a tragedy for an investigation. So until we find evidence that points us in a direction that we know is the right direction, we'll continue to be comprehensive We'll continue to explore every option that can be out there, and we would.
Did y'all see Bowie come in here? If you saw Bowie come in here, hit that like button for Bowie. Yeah, Candace's relationship with Hunter is also suspect and seems inappropriate. I think all their relationships are inappropriate. There's a lot. Yeah, my baby's dressed. I wanted to show you Bowie. I have Wes down there, but my dogs are so little and it's cold in California. They all got their clothes on, so I wish it was I don't win. I lost my Bichons. I lost my 2 Bichons the last couple of years. So I got a Maltipoo because I like the curly hair. Love the curly hair. All right. Anyway, I do love Bichons as well. All right, let's keep going. I had to let the pups in, and I always know that you guys appreciate me sharing the puppies with you. Thank you so much, Bree. Thank you for the $10 super sticker. I love how it says super sticker. Penny knows his mom said he was never the same after that day. Interesting. Yeah. They say a lot, though.
Continue to ask for the public's help in doing so. Typically, we have a couple of agents assigned to an investigation, and that's been enough. We've had over 6,500 leads, tips and leads come in on this case. Those have all been reviewed. They've been worked. We continue to get those. And it is a monstrous task, but it's one that's not overwhelming.
Well, you better tell us something if you're going to say all of this. And Jen Johnson, you said you followed Summer's case since the beginning, and it's bothered you the whole story about Hunter and Candace going to the swimming hole when she almost drowned. Why mention it? And that's like other cases, like many other cases. Why Jen Soda would mention 192? Wait, 192, go down 192. How did she know that Stefan went down 192 and dropped Madeline's body off, right? I mean, that happens. Serena says, I'm glad I stumbled upon your channel. Well, thank you. We're welcome to the crime crew. We're happy to have you here as well. All right. These people better follow up.
We have been strategic in the way that we've handled this investigation. We have some of our most talented agents assigned to this case, some of our most talented intelligence analysts from the Bureau assigned to this case. We have brought in subject matter experts within TBI from across the state to assist in this investigation.
Nice.
We have thrown everything that we know to throw at this case, and we haven't had the answers that we need yet. We know we'll get them, but we don't have them today. When I see the picture of Summer Wells, I see my daughter. And I can tell you that if my daughter was missing, I would sure hope that somebody was looking for her every day. And it brings me concern and satisfaction, really, the concern that we don't have the answers, the satisfaction of knowing that we have the best agents.
A bunch of word salad to tell you guys that they're doing a whole lot of nothing. And that's why I appreciate people like Jason Jensen that go beyond, above and beyond what's happening here in this case. So I cannot wait. I did get your email. I got your email. I don't know if you want me to say your name. Brady. Okay, Brady. I got your email. And guys, I'm going to try to get Jason Jensen on here with me or on an interview to tell you what he knows about this case. And what he knows about this case is going to be much different than what we know because he's working behind the scenes. So I'm a creepy, whispery voice. Yeah, whispering word salad. Like, what did he just say? Did he even say anything? What? All right. The puppies are getting into stuff.
At TBI that are working on this case in connection with other local law enforcement and federal agencies who are doing their best. And if my daughter was missing, all of the people that are working on this case are the people who I would choose to work on a case if my daughter was missing.
Once again, I commend the TBI for their effort and all the resources they're putting into this search, but none of that matters if they're focusing on two theories that aren't correct. And what's worse than the tunnel vision itself is the lack of self-awareness about it, which is what jumped out to me in this interview.
They always have a lack of self-awareness, those people. All right, Sharon. Don don't want Summer found, ripping the signs down of Summer. I saw that. I was going to pull that clip up today. And again, who else pulls the signs down? Who does that unless they don't want them to be found because they know what happened? All right. Good to see y'all rolling in. And for all you people that just came here, thank you. We're going to be giving away a Foxy Box right after we go inside the house. I believe. Did we hit that mark, Foxy? I think we did.
Patting themselves on the back for not just focusing on one theory, but focusing on two, when in reality, they should be focusing on dozens of theories. And
Yes.
because neither of the theories involves foul play by the parents, I don't think they're using every resource in the best way possible.
Agreed. 110%. They should be going down all kinds of different paths. And we don't know what they're going down, right? They're keeping pretty hush about it. MS Justices and Candace allegedly didn't want any missing flyers in Walmart. Well, because when you know where your child is, you're not looking for him and you don't need the help. Just like with the new lead. Why won't they just talk? Why not give a 1-minute statement saying, "Oh my God, this may be a lead that's renewed. We haven't had one for years." Now, at the 4-year mark, nothing happened. It was just a 4-year mark of remembering that Summer was missing. And they sure wanted to talk then. Again, no urgency ever.
In fact, I think YouTubers are going harder on the parents than the actual TBI. I'll link my analysis of one of my favorite YouTuber interviews of Don Wells on the end card. If you want to continue this series, let me know by liking, commenting, and sharing. Until next time, stay true.
Thank you. And Deception Detective has so much coverage in this case. These are the last 2 that have come out in the last 10 days. All right. So, you guys, if you want to watch hours and hours of videos of the Wells, you should go over there and just hit that playlist. There's about 8 hours worth of that stuff. All right. Inside Summer Wells' home. And as you suspected, Chris McDonough with News Nation inside of that. And I wouldn't feel right if I ran this episode today without showing you again, or people that haven't seen inside the Wells home. We touched on the shed, and we've touched on theories that I think and that you think. I do think that something accidentally happened during abuse of Summer. I think she was heavily abused by not only Dawn and even possibly Candace, but any of the people that they gave her to. 496 in chat. We need 496 likes. I guess we're giving away a Foxy box today. Shannon, good to see you. Pray, wouldn't it be wonderful if she... Oh my goodness, Shannon, it would be. Wendy G, Summer. Yes. You know what? I would be happy if they made arrests in this case. Even if they didn't find her without a body and they can find proof that she's no longer alive and somebody talks, you know what? It's better than nothing. And at this point, we don't have much. All right. Hey, Rockin'. Good to see all these people coming in today that I haven't seen before. Tammy Hollis, good to see you. I love your guys' faces today. I can see all's faces. All right. Lock them up, baby. All right. Let's go. Let's get into this, guys.
This is from John Benet Ramsey to Elizabeth Smart. Now he's focusing his attention on the disappearance of Summer Wells as the host of The Interview Room. And we continue to follow Summer's case as well here on Prime. Chris is back with us tonight. Chris, good to see you. Thanks for coming back.
Thank you for inviting me.
So Summer's parents, Don and Candace, have been the target of threats, accusations that they had something to do with Summer's disappearance. They have denied any involvement. They say that she was abducted. They have passed a polygraph test. At this point, the sheriff is saying...
All right, there you go. You were asking earlier, did they pass a polygraph test? You got some more answers. I know all you guys can't remember this without having all your notes, right? All right, let's keep going.
Anything's on the table. All people are persons of interest. But has the public jumped to conclusions too soon on these parents without the evidence to back this up?
Thank you. I appreciate you, Loose Cannon.
Yeah, I think everybody is innocent till proven guilty for sure. And
There he
at
is.
this point,
Oh, we asked and he came. What's up, Jason Jensen? Good to see you. He did. Jason Jensen says, yes, they did. So they passed these polygraph tests. Again, I don't know what that means. You can't use them in court. And we know that they're usually all messed up when we see them. So I don't know what that means. All right. Pie charts, clipboards. Come on. They passed the polygraph because they didn't actually order Summer. That's a possibility.
there are just, as your reporters, pointed out, Brian, that there's just too many moving parts here. There are a couple of theories that still, need to be nailed down. And
Hey, I wonder if, Jason, you just have a quick second in chat. Is there a theory that you might have? And if you don't want to talk about it, that's cool. I'm just wondering, as a private eye and working on this case, Is there anything you can say about it I mean, anything that you've been out there, right? What's your take on this? There's a lot of people think that she was sold. Many people think that she drowned. Other people think that she was abused and there was an accident. I mean, there's so many theories. Who knows, right? But I also haven't been up in the mix.
Obviously, the authorities don't have those pieces yet.
Let's go back to the property, Chris. You spent some time there on the family's property. You went inside the house. You went into Summer's room, and you say that it encapsulates.
All right, so there you go. You heard it from Jason Jensen. He said she wandered to the roadside or into the woods and then was abducted. Interesting. I mean, I wonder if she was abducted by one of the family friends or people that frequented the house and knew that there was a blonde little girl and what they were looking for. All right. The real ICU says, I need more info. Okay. Jason says the dogs tracked her to the road. Okay. I'll take that. I was curious how the dogs tracked her to the road, and we knew that the tracking was for that particular time. And recently they searched a residence nearby. I did not know that. They searched a residence nearby. I knew that the lead was directed in the 9.5 miles towards the house, but that makes sense. Don't you guys want to know more? It's killing me now. Now I want to know more. All right, let's look inside the house.
Her. So I want to show some of this video for folks
Jason.
at home, and I want to walk through exactly what you saw inside this home.
Okay.
So this is Candace showing me essentially where the boys were sitting. They were sitting right there at that table, looking at that TV, playing video games. Summer went down into the basement. She's pointing to this, table here that has basically a crawl space into it. And down into that crawl space goes down into the parents' and Summer's room. So I asked her if she would take me down there. She did. And so we crawl through there.
So
now
can I stop you real quick, Chris? Because
yeah, they had to crawl through there for those of you that didn't see it. And the residence of Paul Hill, but it's a large property, so Paul Hill and his wife may have nothing to do with it. And I agree, an accident is only a guess, right? I'm with Jason Jensen about that. She ended up on the Van Hill Road. I'm with y'all too. I mean, I worked on this case seldom compared to you people that deep dive, and Jason that's in the mix and knows. So I'm going to go with that. I mean, yeah, there's no blood splatter anywhere. I still suspect FH, Fred Hill. I wondered if he hit her and took the scrap yard and to be crushed. Interesting. All right, let's look at the little crawl space there.
So this is the only way to get to Summers and the parents' room is through this crawl space.
Interesting.
Right. This is the way she said Summer went into that basement.
Why do they have it set up like that?
That is a great.
All right, I'll pause it for just 1 second before we dive into that. Does anyone know what the amount of traffic would be on that road where she wandered off to? Fred Hill had nothing to do with it, Jason Jensen, and I'll take that. What I'm wondering is when she wandered off to the road, is it a possibility that it was somebody that they didn't know at all? Again, I don't know that road or what the traffic would be. Do you think it's somebody that knows the family and knew she was there? That's the question of the day, right? All right, let's keep going. Thank you, Jason. I do appreciate you stopping by and chatting with us. I really do. Thank you. Mad respect for you.
Great question. I don't have that answer.
Okay, continue.
So we get down there, and of course, this is Summer's room here that you're seeing. All of the items in the back corner belong to Summer. There is a mattress on the floor, the 2 bunk beds. The windows are secured with reflective type of materials. And so you can tell this is, it's pretty striking pretty quickly for a 5-year-old to be in this environment.
Chris, the other three boys, Summers brothers, were removed from the home, taken into protective custody. Are they key to understanding anything in this case and her disappearance? Is there a chance that they are able to shine some light on what may have happened?
From my opinion as retired investigator, they would be, yes.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of the parents and their past, that has also been something that is much talked about. Candace filed for.
I saw that on your page, Jason. I saw the truck that you put up on your page recently on Facebook. So the FBI did retrieve the truck from South America. Wow, I really hope we hear something and we get closer to this, man. All right.
Order of protection against her husband, Don, saying that she was afraid of being hurt. She was afraid for those kids. That was likely part of why they were removed from the home. How do investigators take that information and also anything the kids might know and try to piece this puzzle together?
Yeah, Marty, that's a great question. So, with a 5-year-old child, obviously time is of the essence. So the first officer on the scene quickly wants to assess, who had last contact, what were those conditions in relationship to that contact, how much time has elapsed before the last person saw the child. And so immediately you want to start talking to the parents and you want to try to separate them. And as you go along, trying to get the information initially about the child, then the parent's background becomes significant in relationship to an investigative process as more resources are arriving on the scene.
Chris, police say that there was no evidence of foul play, yet they issued an Amber Alert. How can they be so sure?
All right, I'll stop for just a second. Jason says Chris McDonough wants to make a big deal about the dogs, but dogs were not present at the house that day. And that makes sense. I mean, all of this stuff is making sense. And I just want to hear what has come out of this, what the significance of the truck is. The third car, did that have significance? Who went down that road often? And why are the parents just not wanting to speak anymore? Again, it's just a question I'm putting out there. I did not see they found the red truck in South America of all places. I didn't see that either. But Jason Jensen has been working on that case. And if you go on his Facebook, you'll see the truck and many things that he's posted about the Summer Wells case. So awesome. Thank you. Zero proof red truck was located. Well, Kitty, when you're working on, we don't know that, but I'm going to take Jason at his word, being a private eye, and if that's incorrect, he would do the same thing I would do and correct it. So let's keep going. Look at these people, man. Whether they're in church, jeez, what a way to cover up your actions. Go to church, you mathematicians.
Oh, that's a great question. The investigative process is still, ongoing. It could be an accident. It could be, something, an intentional act of some sort. I think the investigators, and we heard Sheriff Lawson even say today, that everything is still on the table.
You have been in contact with the parents, Don and Candace. Are you still in touch with them now?
Not currently, no.
What's the deal with this red truck? It is potentially a piece of this puzzle. Have you heard anything about the truck? Has it led to any evidence or information for investigators?
Well, at this point, TBI has reported that the red truck, they want to try to contact that individual who may have been driving. There is a witness who is really vague about whether it was around the area on the 14th or the 15th. So it could have been the day before or the day of Summer's disappearance. However, I think what they want to do is just check the box to eliminate that truck. They have eliminated a lot of red trucks in that area.
How closely would investigators be looking at family and friends of both Candace and Don, this inner circle of people that they know?
I think we all think that it's someone from the inner circle because, I mean, who else is going to be out that way knowing about the children and the how accessible they are? Jason says Camden and Allie on their channel show themselves on Dawn and Candace's property, and there were no dogs going nuts. Camden and I'll have to take that look at Camden and Allie. I'm sure y'all are familiar with that. I don't believe no dogs were there. I heard the dogs interfered with the search dogs in the Dotson where they said the dogs were. All right, I'm going to take a look at the Camden and Alley and dig more into this because there's a lot of things that I just didn't realize. I thought they were just far out there, theories and, etc. I don't think Don knew CPS was likely going to remove the kids and he thought he could get some money for Summer. Interesting. So much. There's such we want Summer to be found. We want Summer to be brought home. I don't know that she's alive anymore, guys, but yeah, we want to bring her home.
Especially given the fact that Don has admitted that they had some wrong friends, or at least Candace did.
That would be significant. And you want to, again, you want to look at the abduction theory and you have to think, how high of a risk would a subject who would want to, take a child, a 5-year-old, how high of a risk would that suspect take? And in that terrain and coming up that hill with the information that Summer between 2 and 10-minute time frame was in that basement, the universe would have to be 100% on schedule for all those stars to align.
Right.
So that's where you want to start, shifting your focus in relationship to, taking a look at the inner circle, who had access to that property and or who had access to the parents.
Chris.
Now listen, that's what I was thinking, Jason. I was like, I mean, they're not sophisticated people by any means. So when you say that you're selling a child or trafficking them, you gotta be just a tiny bit of sophistication. And trafficking is not just something that it's something bigger, we'll say. So how does a hillbilly sell a child? Have you seen their house? Yeah, we were just showing that today. We were showing the inside. And I think when you say sold the child or trafficking, I think it might be different. I think people might be thinking that, if I couldn't sell someone today if I wanted, exactly. But I think those people, what they're saying about selling was trading for monetary gain or for DRUGs, right? Like Jen Soto. Jen Soto wasn't sophisticated enough to sell Maddie to Stephen Stearns, but they had a mutual exchange. You can have Maddie and I can have whatever you give me, what you bring to the table. So that I think that's what people mean. And I agree. Those people are not sophisticated enough to have some deal on the table with this trafficking ring. I don't know. I don't think that either. But Texas Plain Jane says, I think debt was owed and the piper came to collect. Man, I wish we knew what was. I want to know what's happening now. All right, let's keep going. We're almost gonna give away a Foxy box, y'all. We can do this for another freaking 4 hours.
5 months is a long time for this little girl to be missing. As more time goes by, how optimistic are you that this case is solvable, that we can find Summer and bring her home safely?
Well, I'm always optimistic. Statistically, though, that optimism starts to dwindle. However, I do believe this case will be solved. I think they have the correct resources on it with TBI, FBI, as well as the Hawkins County Sheriff's Department in the lead. And I, like you and the rest of the nation, are praying. I'm praying that they do find her.
And we are as well. And I think it just comes to the bottom line of trafficking or being sold. People still think that Sebastian was sold to someone possibly or trafficked when he's not even in the realm of what a trafficking ring would want, an autistic 15-year-old boy. So, I mean, I understand what we're talking about here. The dogs went on vacation. Oh my goodness, there's so much in this case. Yeah, if you guys have more information, send me an email, guiltyofcrime@gmail.com, or send me cases. When law enforcement hides and never does updates, people go with the conspiracies. I agree under your scars. People do that anyway. Look at the Brian Koberger case. Signed, sealed, delivered, done, and we still got channels every day saying that he didn't do it. So again, I'm not going to get into that portion of it, but that's what happens. Let's investigate the $50,000 cash loan the father obtained. All right. Sebastian is another story I've been reviewing. Well, I would love to hear more about that because I am just I really want to know what happened to Sebastian and who did it, right? And how did Katie, I'm not even going to get into that. Let's just keep going. Children don't disappear.
I share in that prayer. It has our attention. It has the attention of a lot of people on social media. And those folks on social media are relentless, as are we. Chris McDonough, we appreciate your time and, as always, your insight. Thank you.
And I agree. I don't want anyone to get offended. I remember when I first started covering the Jack and Lily case, and I said, look at that property. Look at these mathematicians. That place is no place for a child. And people got mad at me saying I live in a trailer and being a hillbilly mentality doesn't have to do whether you're from Tennessee or you're from Florida, like Jen Soto. You're right. It's a mentality, right? It's like when you call someone white trash, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that you're calling out their ethnicity. It's who they are as people and their mentality. Thank you, M.M. Clark, because that's not who we are talking about that. All right, let's keep going, and we're going to give away a Foxy box. So don't forget, you hit the like button and drop a comment, guys, and you have to be green. Jason Jensen, awesome news. That poor child, I know. What's up, Joni? Good to see you. All right, let's keep going.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe.
Subscribe to News Nation. Get a tip from me. What? All right, let's keep going. I'm getting these weird text messages right now. All right. Methodical, interesting. All right, Kitty Hawk says being a hillbilly means you're from the hills, or the holler is a culture, an identity to being from Tennessee. Well, yeah, I mean, some people say that, but I didn't know that, Kitty Hawk. Well, you could be here literally in California and go down the street where we're not in the city, and you'll be called a hillbilly for that. So I get it, but that's not exactly. Yeah, there you go, Foxy. All right, guys, it's all fun and games until it's over. Boop. Who wants to give something away? Anybody? Anyone want to give something away? All right, we're going to give away, Hillbilly Proud. I'd be happy to be a hillbilly if I can get some property out in the country. Summer. All right, on this note, guys, I'm going to leave it here, and then we're going to give away a Foxy box. Summer is solvable, but everyone should stop throwing around theories until we hear back from the FBI about their search. I agree, Jason. I agree. And I think putting Summer in the spotlight for too long every day does hurt the case. Absolutely. And on that note, boop, we're going to give away a Foxy box right now. Right. And I do hope that it's solvable. I do understand that when people start to get in the mix and play detectives, it could go all bad. All right. Let's hear the results. I agree. All right. You're late, but you're right on time. New theories can defend the culprit. I agree. It doesn't stop the cases that cover it every day, though, which is absolutely wild to me that some people's channel can literally stream Sebastian or Summer Wells every single day. I don't know what they're coming out with other than theories, right? So, all right, we could not find your account. All right, we're going to give it away, guys. Hit that like button. I'm about to do the spinny wheel. All right, here we go. As long as we can get this to work, we'll be good to go. All right. Everybody ready? Yes, Jason's been around since day one, just like in the Rosie Tapia case, 30 years. That's admirable, guys. All right, Foxy Box, I'm going to put that up there, and let's go. Fingers crossed, prayers had. Let's pray that Summer Wells gets found and that this case does get solved. When you hear that it's a solvable case and potentially good leads, that's great. That's great. That's great news. All right, guys, ready? Your comments aren't visible. All right. That's the kind of day we're going to have. Let's go. Hold on. I'm going to have to pick it by hand. Otherwise, load comments. All right. Now we're rocking and rolling. All right, guys. Are you ready? You guys got to see Foxy's picture. 2, 1, and go. All right. I don't know who that is, but I don't think they're in. Oh, that's you. That's you, Lisa, but you are not, unfortunately, a crime crew member. All right. We're going to do this again, guys. I'm going to clear out this whole thing and we're just going to completely resubmit this. All right. Let's go back. And we're going to do this all over again. Hit that like button if you would. We're going to do YouTube. I'm going to do it all over again. And we're going to start from scratch. All right, here we go. Look at this. It just wants to be like that today. It wants to give me a hard time. All right, let's go. Look at that. Marlena came a new member right before the punch. Welcome. You've been around for a minute. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. Well, welcome to the crime crew, Holly. You see who's on that screen? Kitty Hawk, thank you for becoming a member. I see that we got fingers crossed. And Holly, not only is Holly a mod, she's very new at being a mod, but I'm pretty sure you are a crime crew member. Yes, Lisa, I'm telling you, if you're part of the crime crew, we give away things all the dang time. So you want to be that. James, what's up, James McConnell? Hey, all. All right, where'd Holly go? Holly, Oxenfree. Is that like Ollie, Oxenfree? Where'd she go? You're very welcome. Well, I'm pretty sure Holly's a crime crew member, right? Do you not only do you have your ranch, but are you a guilty of crime crew member, Holly? Let me know. I don't know because you're a mod and I can't tell if you're green or not. So I just need to know. Payday, I'm all in. And you know what, Lisa? We give away memberships all the time. So just come back and watch and hit that like button. We're always giving away memberships. All right, I guess Holly's I'm going to assume that she's a crime crew member, right? Congratulations. I don't know where she went, but she just put a $1.99 super sticker. And Holly, are you a member, Holly? Okay, I guess so. All right, we're going to go with that because I don't want to sit here just spinning. So thank you, Holly, for the $1.99 super sticker. Holly, guilty of prizes at gmail.com. I assure you guys, you want to be a crime crew member, especially in the month of December. We're going to be giving things away. We're going to be helping with Christmas toys. You'll watch my postings, etc. Good luck to everybody, and thank you all for being here. All right, guys. Check. All right, guys. Twin mommies, love you back. Holly, you won the guilty of crime Foxy box. All right. So I'll say good night on that note, and I'm out. Thank you so much for stopping by, Jason. And as soon as more information comes out and the leads, I'd love to pick your brain about some things. But for now, we're going to just chill out. All right, Jay, I just looked up Michael Monkey Vaughn. No, he wasn't. I corrected myself, Cindy. I absolutely corrected myself. You might have come in at the last second, but here's what happened. They did not find his body. However, listen, one more time, guys. Latest update, December 2025, authorities in Idaho have formally charged Stacy Wandra with first-degree murder, kidnapping, and destruction of evidence in connection with the disappearance of 5-year-old Michael Monkey Vaughn. All right, a recent affidavit has been released that implicates multiple individuals and one of Wandra's former roommates, Brandon Shurtleff. Okay, so there are people arrested. Payette County prosecutors announced the charges against Stacy Wandra, Michael's former neighbor, 4 years after he vanished in July 2021. All right, the court documents will give you information that claim several residents of the Wandra household may have been involved with the disappearance of Michael. Also, body cam leaked footage shows a call with a man once considered a suspect discussing where Michael's body might be buried in a Fruitland backyard. Okay, so for those of you that I messed it up in the very beginning while I was talking to you, I also corrected myself, and I will do an episode next week. Thank you, Jason. I do appreciate you for all your hard work and all of you guys. I see y'all are ready to discuss that case, and we're gonna do it. All right. Much love to you. And Holly says, I looked and I am a member. Mwah. Thank you, Holly, for being a member and a mod. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. Thank you, guys. And I hope you guys heard my correction. Michael Monkey Vaughn has not been found. His body has not been found, but they are speculating where his body might be in a backyard, and arrests have been made. On that note, good night. Love you all, and I'll see you tomorrow. Mwah. And boop, I'm out of here.
Guilty of crime. I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty of crime?